Nothingness is the absence of all things. Yeah?
Yeah.
Which has no energy, no matter, no fluctuations, no quanta, nothing. Now, if you had nothing to begin with, let's understand this concept first. Nothing to begin with, which doesn't have any energy. We know everything requires energy. Can this nothingness, which is the absence of everything, make something?
Well, yeah.
Brought about something?
Okay,
Bring about something?
Let's say no. Yeah.
Why do you say let's say no?
Well, let's say no for now. So
No. We can't say let's say. We have to give reasons. Intellectual reasons, scientific or philosophical.
So if there is something that created, then what created that? What created?
No, you're jumping. Let's understand the concept of something and nothing.
We don't know.
No. Something and nothing.
There was nothing, then there was something. We don't know how. We don't know how.
Before we go, say we don't
Maybe
and we
there was
don't.
never nothing.
Ah, good. Do you know why you say that? Because you know very well, nothingness as an agent cannot bring about anything. Because there is nothing that we see. Excuse my pun.
I wouldn't say that we know that nothing can.
Have you seen anything coming from absolute nothingness?
I haven't seen anything.
Have you observed anything? Right. So scientifically, we haven't observed anything that comes from absolute nothingness.
True.
Philosophically, you can't say in the future I'll be able to fly by flapping my wings. It's possible.
Might be able to.
Yeah. If I flap my wings enough time, maybe in the future I can fly.
I didn't say we might be able to. I said we haven't thus far.
Now, I'm saying, taking your argument further, in the future, if I flap my wings, my arms, it's not wings, enough time,
reasonable argument?
It's possible that I can fly one day. Just that, my arms.
I claim that we don't know everything about the universe, and therefore we cannot.
No one's claiming that. But there are certain principles that we have that we say that in our universe there are no triangular square, and there never will.
And you can't just fill.
There never will be.
That's correct, yes.
That's why I wanted to confirm with you about the principle of non-contradictions. Do you think in the future we can have a triangular square?
I have no idea.
Okay, so basically you are like similar in your position where principle of non-contradiction can be violated, where you can have things that contradict each other can exist at the same time. So something can be infinite and finite at the same time.
Oh, 100%. You can have two things that are true at the same time.
Yeah. What is infinite by definition?
No. I'm giving you an example of something that can be, if I may.
Okay. So
something that is one thing and another thing at the same time is light, is a wave and a particle at once.
I asked you about infinite.
Okay. And
can the infinite be finite at the same time?
my point is that cannot be two things at once.
Why not?
What I'm saying is there are things that.
Sorry.
There are actually different.
Why not?
There are actually different mathematical forms of infinity. Some are.
Yeah.
Some are finite.
Infinite by definition, is it finite?
Some forms of infiniteness are finite.
Oh, yeah.
Then it's not infinite. If you are 100% knowledgeable, how many percent ignorant can you be?
So you're taking me a bit on a wild goose chase.
No,
your original
it's not
question.
goose chase.
Your original question was nothingness to somethingness.
No.
And now we're on.
We are, because this gentleman raised this question. When we talk about things diametrically opposed, for example, when we say 100% knowledgeable, by definition, how much percent ignorance? If you are 100% knowledgeable in something, how many percent ignorant are you?
I would say 100%.
No.
If you think you're 100% knowledgeable, you're 100% ignorant, perhaps.
If you are 100% knowledgeable in something, then by definition, what you have left of your ignorance on that thing is 0%.
Well, that's really knowledge is what is one or the other. That's if
we cannot go past this, then of course there's no point discussing the higher levels of philosophy and science and logic and reason. Because when we say you're 100% right, you're saying no. You're actually 100% right and 5% wrong in that thing.
I think it's because we disagree on.
It's like saying I'm here at the same time I'm not here.
So I'm
saying either one of them.
No,
are you here now?
I'm saying that we're at a point in our history where I can't answer that question. I don't think we actually know enough to say, for you to stand there and confidently say with 100% certainty that you can have 100% knowledge on something. I don't think we can ever have 100% knowledge on something. So you're saying 100% knowledge, 0% ignorance, but I don't think we can reach that point.
Let me ask you one
question.
question.
It doesn't make sense.
This lady over there, does she exist?
Oh, it depends on. I know it feels like I'm just not agreeing with anything you're saying.
No, you can disagree.
Well, let's go with it. Let's say yeah, she exists. Let's say she.
Are you 100% certain?
No, I'm not.
How many percent certain are you?
God knows, 95% certain.
And what is the 5% uncertainty?
Well, because I don't fully. Yeah, I could be in some machine. I don't know. Could not
So
be real.
do
Everything could not
you
be real.
truly really believe you're in a machine?
What?
Do you truly really believe you're in your dreams or in a machine?
No.
Right. So that excuse is removed. So give me another excuse. Why is this 5% uncertainty that she exists?
Because like as someone that studies science,
Can you not record the lady over here?
as,
He's only 95% certain that you exist. So I'm just trying to find out why the 5% uncertainty.
I think no one can be 100% certain anything exists.
Yes. Now that statement, no one can be. Are you certain about that statement?
Yes, because it's a caveat. It doesn't have 100%.
You said no one can be certain about anything 100%.
Yeah.
That statement is doubtful, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I can get rid of that statement. It's a doubtful statement. I don't want.
No, but that's like the statement of
No.
this statement is a lie.
No, no.
Like this is
No.
it's a
As you
reception.
said, I can disregard your statement because it's not certain. You bring an evidence for something like a statement you did, which itself is not an evidence because it's a doubtful statement. It's not something that's certain.
No, it's because
It's not certain.
in science we never say things with certainty.
Right.
We say
So-
things with or because everything has a caveat. Because
So
we never
can you
know.
now,
before.
can you give me another reason, the 5% uncertainty that she exists?
No, but if I give a reason, you'll say, well, you're uncertain
No.
about that statement.
You're a reasonable person. I hope so. So using your reason, what is the 5% doubt that she doesn't exist? You're only 95% certain.
Because the only thing that's telling me she does exist are my senses,
Yeah.
right?
So
And my understanding. So there's a very likelihood that my senses could be deceiving me.
So you truly believe your senses are deceiving you to think that she exists?
I'm saying it's unlikely, but I'm saying it could, whatever.
Yeah.
You're saying if you're 100% certain. No, I'm not. And I think if you say you're 100% certain that I exist, I think you're doubting. You should have doubt.
Can I dispel my doubt? Say I'm 95% certain and 5% doubtful. Is there a way of removing my doubt? So I do an experiment. If I punch on something that doesn't exist, you would not feel anything. If something exists, like a skin and a bone and a muscles, you might feel something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So should we do that experiment with your consent?
No, let's not.
Why not?
Because
If you don't no.
Yeah, I know. I see what you're saying.
If you are not existent, you will not feel anything.
Okay, let's move on. Let's move. So what
No, there's no point moving on unless we are really honest and sincere and reasonable with our own self. One of the reasons that we have obstacles is because when we confront the reality, that we see that reality hits us hard, and we don't want to accept that reality, and we demonstrate to ourselves some excuses of uncertainty. So nothingness, let's return back to the question, right? There's no point demonstrating. You and I know it's going to hurt. I'm going to hurt you. You're going to probably hit me back, and we're going to have a fight. We don't want that, even with the consent. I've never done that to anyone. I've pushed someone in the past with their consent, of course, and and then he was, I think he got confirmed that he existed. But anyway, I'm not going to do that too, don't worry. Nothingness is the absence of energy. To do things, actions in science, you need energy. Without energy, you can't do anything. So if nothingness was the beginning state of our existence, there won't be anything. There will not be any something at all. So by our understanding of what something is, there cannot be, and you're right, there could not have been a time in the past where there was absolute nothingness. So it's out of the question. Nothingness never existed. There was always, and there has to be always something. We believe that something that always existed is the creator, our originator. Let's not call him God, originator of everything, who always existed, because something has to always exist. That is not difficult to comprehend if you think about it, because the other option is, at one point there was absolute nothingness.
So we've got this idea that there's nothingness and then there's something, but there's a gap where we don't know where we got from nothing to something. And I'm saying religion has just filled that gap with something that we made up. we don't know for certain that what that is that was there. Maybe there is a creator, maybe there isn't. Maybe there's something that we can't comprehend that's in between those two things. But we've just filled it with an idea that we've all got behind. And I don't think that that's something that we could put enough trust into.
Yeah. Before we say creator and God, at least we can affirm that something existed always, has to exist. And then we ask, what is that something?
But we're looking through it from human eyes, aren't we?
We are only human.
Humans can't comprehend nothingness because we're humans, right? I don't know. There must be. Perhaps there is a way.
Nothingness ever brings something about in our real world?
What? From nothing?
Yeah.
No, never. But there are some theories about quarks appearing out of nothingness.
They don't appear from nothingness. They just transform from one state to the other.
Well, yeah.
There are always energy fields.
Yeah.
Yep. So there was not, even in the scientific understanding of things, like Professor Lawrence Krauss has written books about it.
We're working on it. We'll figure it out.
No, we are not going to figure out where nothingness can make something. Because by definition, nothingness is the absence of anything.
Let's say science in 1,000 years proves, and we make something from nothing. Is there a place for God there? Is there a place for God?
What's your definition of nothingness?
Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
The absence of everything.
Everything.
So,
and let's say we then create something. Is there a place for God then?
Look, in the future, God will tell you that I exist. Yeah? We can just postpone our intellectual inquiry in the future the way you like, the way I like. So in the future, it will be quite clear to everyone that God exists. Yeah. Are we going to leave it for in the future and live our life knowing today we know for certain that nothingness doesn't exist? There has to be always something. We can't postpone ourselves just like the hope of the future.
You can. 200 years ago, we couldn't fly in planes, right? And the idea of flight would have been some sort of ethereal, godlike idea. But then science made the jump, and now we fly in planes. I'm saying we can make that jump in a philosophical sense as well. In 1,000 years' time, we might prove something that you can't prove now.
You are not explaining about the realities of science. Science has its limitations, right?
Of course.
Within these limitations, we can do many things. The moment Islam came to the last prophet, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it told us to go and explore the universe, go beyond the horizons, explore the cosmos underneath the earth. So science has always been encouraged in Islam. It was never that, don't inquire, don't ponder, don't reflect, don't do experiments. Science has always been part and parcel of the Islamic way of thinking. So the reason that postponing something is not very helpful, because you and I, we will pass away, we will die one day. But do you know for sure whether you fulfill the duty you're supposed to do by the one who created you? You're even questioning, did anyone create me or not? You see? So what if you find out that you were created for a purpose and you did not fulfill the purpose, and now you're in a state and you realize, I was hoping for the future to unravel, but I didn't do it.
I'm not hoping, I'm working on it.
Yeah, but as you now know today, there has to be always something. That something must be the possessor of energy.
So you've just said Islam always encourages science, right? So as a scientist, why do I need Islam? Can I not do the science separate? What does Islam bring to science?
Because science today has become very dogmatized. If you believe in God and believe in science at the same time, they will say, you are a very dodgy scientist. So it's become a dogma by itself. Science has taken something like a secular position where God doesn't exist, even though the proofs and evidence may be to the contrary. So what we are saying is, using the scientific principles to understand the reality, the philosophical tools that we have to understand the reality and the reasons that we have, it will be quite certain for us to know that there is a creator, and this creator must be absolute, not finite, not dependent, not limited, but absolute. Because anything that is always there in the past is independent of anything. So that creator, if that creator brought us into existence, must be a reason, because the creator has to bring us into existence with a will and a volition, for a reason. Do we know what reason we are here for? If you woke up and found yourself in a fast-moving train, the doors are shut on the both sides in your buggy, whatever it's called, right, compartment, and you just see, on the left and the right, and it just goes and goes, would you just say, I'm happy? I don't need to ask how I get here. I don't need to ask where it's going.
So you think that if someone came into your carriage and said, I've got the answers to everything, and
No.
told you,
I'm simply saying, if you're the only one in that carriage, and you found yourself, as you woke up, there, would you stop yourself asking, how did I get here? Where am I going? Or what am I doing here? Or are you going to ask those questions? You're going to ask. Likewise, if you're in this cosmos, this reality, it's only sensible to ask, what am I doing here? Where did I come from? Where am I going to? Because you and I seem to be a bit different from everything around us. We build spaceships and we go to the moon and other planets we're trying to go to. Other living things are not doing that. We seem to be on the top of the food chain. We seem to be more intelligent than everything else. We seem to be the one even questioning our existence. So being slightly different with this capacity to reflect, to ponder, to understand, it's only meaningful to ask these questions, the three essential questions.
I'm going to have to go. That was a lot longer than I thought it would be.
All right. Take care. What's your name?
Joe.
Joe, take care.
What's your name?
If you come across, do you have a copy of the Quran?
I do, yeah.
Yeah, read, reflect, question.
I think it's a good thing. And you should do the same.
Yeah, of course. We have to question.
Right, nice.
Thank you.